Hello everyone, Monty here. Today I'm going to teach you how to make everything bagels. I've been starting to make bagels again. I didn't make them for about a year and a half. And what I love about how I'm going to teach you how to make the dough for the bagels is it's the same dough for pizza. The only difference is the cooking time. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make the 2-ingredient dough. Just a little background, the 2-ingredient dough I believe was created by someone on Weight Watchers. I Googled it and that's what I read, and I was on Weight Watchers years ago, and that's how I learned about the 2-ingredient dough. What I did was I stopped making it because I started gaining weight because I was overdoing it on all the carbs. Remember we talked about, white flour, it gets processed into your system just like sugar because they take all the fiber and the bran, all that fiber out of when they separate the endosperm, the bran and the germ, and the endosperm is the white fluffy stuff, but without the bran, it gets released into your system real quickly like sugar. I'm gonna make them with white flour today, unbleached organic white flour. I did order some whole wheat organic bread flour, so I'm gonna try it with that when it comes, because I just feel guilty about eating white flour. I typically don't eat white flour, but these bagels are delicious and they're very low in calories. So if you look at bagels calories, they're anywhere from like 220 for a bagel all the way up to like 290 on average, right? Because I've been looking a lot in the supermarket at a lot of bagels and Googling it, and I see the least is like 220 all the way up to 290. Is probably, I even saw some that were a little over 300, but the average is like 220 to 290. These are about 145 calories each. I know I previously posted the calories is like 119, and I'm sorry, I made math error somewhere because I recalculated it and I was wrong. So anyway, we are going to show you real quickly how to make it. So first I'm gonna have my bowl. I've had this bowl for years. People always ask me where I buy everything. I don't remember where I bought this bowl. Some restaurant equipment store, I think I bought it at. Also, you could probably go to Amazon and find it, or maybe you wanna try Googling it. It's really crazy, right? You type in Google in your computer, and something you're looking for, and magically all this stuff pops up on where to find it. I say that because there's 7,000 of you, and people seem to be asking me all the time where to buy stuff, right? Anyway, so a little levity, guys. So I bought this, I believe at Whole Foods. This is unbleached bread flour. I read an article a long time ago that if you like a chewy bagel, which I do, that you should use bread flour. And it's higher in protein, which is a good thing too, right? So we got the flour, we got the bowl, we've got parchment paper on my counter, and I just dusted it with a little bit of flour. Now, I gotta tell you, when I made it, and I made this video 2 years ago about how to make the 2-ingredient dough, I got comments like, oh, are you gonna calculate all that flour that's on there that you needed the dough in? No, I'm not gonna get that crazy, because also some dough is gonna stick to the bowl, so I think it's kind of like a wash, right? People say the craziest thing. Oh, and by the way, I did wash my hands for the hygiene police, because people always make comments. Did you wash your hands before you touched all that? Yeah, anyway. So anyway, we're gonna get started. I have, first we're gonna do equal parts. The 2-ingredient dough, I make 3-ingredient dough. The 2-ingredient dough is if you use yogurt and self-rising flour. I've never used self-rising flour. I always tend to buy non-self-rising flour, so I just keep making it the way I made it. If you use self-rising flour, you don't need baking powder, which I use, and so it's really, my 2-ingredient dough is really 3-ingredient dough. So the first ingredient is flour. So we're just going to take the flour, I'm gonna fill up a cup, because we're gonna do 2 cups. 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of yogurt, so 2-cup recipe, equal parts of each. So we're going to do, there we go, make a level cup, and we're gonna put it into our bowl, okay? There we go. Now, here's another question people kept asking me when I did this video last time. I just realized it's a really bad choice of color to wear with making bagels, black. I'm gonna be looking like a powdered donut. Anyway, I use the Fage. You have to use Greek non-fat yogurt. People would message me and go, Monty, I followed your recipe, but it didn't work. I'm like, and then I have to talk to them back and forth. Did you follow the instructions? Yes. Then finally I talked to her for a while, which I don't really have a lot of time to do that. And she used regular yogurt. She didn't use Greek yogurt. You need a firm Greek non-fat yogurt for this to work, or the dough is not gonna work right, okay? So remember, Greek firm non-fat yogurt, okay? So 1 cup of each. So we did 1 cup of the flour. Remember, this is, I think it's called War Eagle Mill organic bread flour. It's an unbleached bread flour. So all it means is unbleached. It wasn't bleached by chemicals to make it really white. but they still took out all the good stuff, the bran and the germ, and left the endosperm, which is the white fluffy stuff. So it's really got like no nutritional value. Sometimes they'll say enriched because they're letting you know, hey, we enriched it with vitamins because we know there's no nutrients in it, right? You ever seen that on bread, enriched? They're putting vitamins back in because they took it all out with the endosperm. I mean, with the germ and the bran, excuse me. I read a whole article on that too. It's very interesting. All right, so now we got a cup of the yogurt. We're gonna put that in. Now, this is very sticky dough. I never made bread or anything before I made the 2 ingredients, so it just felt sticky for me, and that was my norm. But people say that it's really much stickier than regular bread. I didn't have the experience of having regular bread flour, so I wouldn't know the huge difference. So we're gonna put that in there. I'm gonna grab a towel to wipe my hand. And now we need baking powder, and we're gonna put 2 teaspoons of baking powder in here. So 2 level teaspoons. There's 1. And there's 2. All right. Now we're ready to mix it. I'm gonna get a fork. And I'm just gonna mix it with forks. Now some people, that's my oven going off. So I preheated the oven to 375 degrees. I start mixing it with a fork. So one thing is, you really have to get your hands in there because you have to get the flour mixed with, it's not like liquidy, the flour. You gotta I always say you gotta push the dough into it because you gotta push that yogurt into it. It's very weird. You have to play with it for a while to really understand this dough because you have to like push it down and get that moisture pressed into the dough, and you really won't be able to finish it until you do it with your hands. And it's just very, very weird. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my hands. Remember, I did wash my hands. Get my hands in there. And I'm just gonna start pressing it into there to get all the crumbs out. That's the only way you're gonna get like all the crumbs. Like I say, there's crumbs on the bottom. Because you're gonna get that moisture that's in that yogurt out, right? So, anyway, we're gonna do that. Once I can get all the crumbs out of the bottom, or most of the crumbs, right? Because some's gonna stick to the bowl. We'll be ready to put this in. A couple more turns. I just keep turning and pressing to get this, whatever's at the bottom out. Okay. And then it's real interesting. So somebody once told me at Weight Watchers, you should make 3 round balls and poke a hole through it. And that's, I usually take the dough, cut it into 4, and then I would roll it like this and make a log and connect them and then smooth that connection point out. But somebody said, no, you make the round balls and you poke the hole through the bowl and form it that way. And I tried it once and I didn't like it, but I tried it last time and I think it is a better way to do it. So we're gonna do it that way today. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so mostly all the crumbs are gone. Just this one little piece here. Okay, we got a little dough now. All the crumbs are gone. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just knead it a little bit more, but it looks pretty good on the parchment paper with the dusting of the flour. Now remember, we do have stuff stuck to the bottom of here, so I think it's a wash. I'm not gonna calculate the crumbs. I didn't even put 1/8 of a cup of flour on here, so I'm not gonna worry about it. And they stay to knead it for about a minute or 2. Now some people I know, especially when they're using the pizza dough, they'll let it sit for an hour or 2 to rise. I don't do that, but I'm always in a hurry, right? I'm always so busy. But I did do it once, and it was easy to work with, I have to admit, especially to make a pizza dough. But this works really well. Okay, so I think we're good, and it's sticky, right? I used to have one of those pastry cutters, and I don't know what I did with it. So I kind of just eye it, and I kind of just, well, this was not a good eye. So I eye it, I then see how much bigger a couple of them are. And then I just try to get them to I roll balls with them. And then I just try to, see this one's a little bit smaller. Just want to get them all the same size. This one's still a little bit bigger. Trying to get a feel for it. This one's still a little bit bigger. Okay, what I like to do now is I like to roll these around in a little bit of the dough. Okay. Then I like to wash my hands because my hands are a little sticky from the dough, right? So let me just rinse these off. Dry my hands really well, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dust my hands with a little bit more of the flour so I can poke a hole and form the shape. But now what I'm going to do before that, I need to, now some people put them on parchment paper. I just put them on the on a non-stick baking sheet. I spray it with a little extra virgin olive oil spray. Remember, like 5 sprays is 0 calories. Okay, so now I'm almost out of flour. So now I'm just gonna made 4 balls. I'm gonna poke a hole in the center, and then I'm just going to, let me show you how I'm doing this. And I'm just going to make a bagel shape. And there you go. It's that simple, right? Okay, gonna do the next one. That easy. I don't know why the first time I did this, I didn't like doing it this way. It's so much easier than trying to make the logs and then connecting them so they don't look funky. And then you can just, it's also easier once you take out the egg wash. We're gonna put an egg white wash on the top to make the everything bagel seasoning stick. And it's also, every bagel you do that. You do a little egg wash. Some people use whole egg. I like to use the egg whites. Also, my friend Debbie can't eat the fat in the egg. She has a problem with digesting fat, so I always try to make things, because I just gave her a bagel. I'm gonna give her some more. I always share these with my neighbor Debbie. And I like to turn them over, get them real dusted with the flour. So these are looking really good. These two look really good. And they'll rise, so we just want them kind of like a bagel shape. You're not gonna believe how beautiful these are. They really are beautiful. So when they come out of the oven. Okay, now we're just gonna do all 4. It's gonna be a long video. Okay, gotta hurry up because we're gonna run out of video time. Okay, because you're only allowed to have 15 minutes. We're at 13 minutes. All right, I'm just gonna finish one of these off because we're not gonna have time. Let's do the others, but you get the gist. I have egg whites. I just did the egg white wash, and what we're gonna do is just brush it with a brush. I bought this brush, I think my local supermarket had them, a basting brush, a pastry brush or whatever. And you see how easy that is? You just brush the egg white on, and then you take the everything bagel seasoning. I bought this on Amazon because I had a hard time finding them at Whole Foods. A lot of local markets carry them, Publix too, but I have a hard time finding them sometimes. And then all we do is we cover them. Okay, I'm gonna cut the camera off because we're gonna run out of time. I'm gonna finish these other ones. I'm gonna put them on the tray, put them in the oven, and I'll show you how they come out when they're done. Okay guys, I just took them out of the oven, and look how gorgeous these are. Are they beautiful or what? I gotta tell you, these bagels are awesome. Look, I don't have much time because we only have like a minute left. Actually 30 seconds left, but cooked them for about 23 minutes on the convection oven. If you have a regular oven, I would say watch them after 20 minutes. They say if you have a regular oven, you should turn them halfway through. I don't think I need to because the air is circulating. I did calculate them wrong. I just checked it again. This flour is only 110 calories per third of a cup. So the bagels come out to be about 120 calories, even adding in the everything seasoning. I'll put that all in the post. I hope you guys enjoyed watching how to make this, and I'll be talking to you guys soon.